Okay, so I'm going to do an example of factoring a quadratic using the zero product property to solve for it. So let's take, so what are we doing? We are going to solve a quadratic by factoring and using the zero product property. Okay, and that zero product property is if A times B equals 0, then A equals 0 or B equals 0. Okay? So a quadratic is, the highest degree is 2. So for example, we have 9x squared plus 9x plus 2 equals 0. Whenever you have an equals 0, that means they want you to solve it, okay? So the thing that I like to do when I solve a quadratic and I'm going to factor it, I go ahead and write my parentheses ahead of time. And then I look at the first term. So this is a 9x squared. We know there's going to be an x and an x. X times x is x squared. We know that. It's just that 9, well, factors of 9, 9 times 1 equals 9, and 3 times 3 equals 9. So my gut tells me it's not going to be a 9 and a 1 because that's going to give, it's not going to give something that's going to add up to 9. But I'm going to go ahead and put a 3 and a 3. Okay, so that gives me 9x squared, the first term. And then actually we're lucky with this 2 because 2 is prime. So, and both of these are the same thing. So we're just going to put a 2 in one and a 1 in the other. Those are the only two factors of 2 because it's prime. And then, so right now we have the 9x squared and we have the 2. The secret is getting that middle term correct, right? So if we think about, remember this middle term is the result of the outer and the inner adding together. Okay, so the outer is 3x. Let's just make these plus because we've got nothing but pluses up there. So let's make this 3x. 3x times 1 is 3x. 2 times 3x is 6x. And when we add those together, we do in fact get a positive 9x. So this is how you factor 9x squared plus 9x plus 2 equals 0. Now, we're not done because we have to solve the quadratic, okay? So using the zero product property, they set both the factors equal to 0, which is what we're going to do. So we're going to set each factor to 0. Okay, these are factors. 3x plus 2 is a factor times 3x plus 1 is a factor. So 3x plus 2 equals 0 and 3x plus 1 equals 0. We're solving these for x. So if I subtract 2, I get 3x equals a negative 2. Divide both sides by 3 and x is equal to a negative 2/3. 3x, if I subtract 1, equals a negative 1. Divide by 3, x is equal to a negative 1/3. So that, there you actually solved for the x values that are going to satisfy this. So what does this mean? This means that this negative 2/3, when you plug it in here, you're going to get 0 equals 0. Negative 1/3, if you plug it in here, you're going to get 0 equals 0. Graphically, if you graph this quadratic, and so that's a negative 1, right? So this is a negative 1/3, and this is a negative 2/3. What that means is that is where the parabola is going to cross that x-axis. Okay? All right, if you have a graphing calculator, plug this into your calculator and you will see what I mean. When you solve for a quadratic, you're solving for the x-intercepts. Okay, thank you.